If you have something go wrong with your main form of transportation, it sure can throw a wrench into your entire life. Now imagine if you're new to a town, don't have a regular mechanic or anyone who can point you in the right direction, so you go online and look up a local mechanic and look at the reviews. They look mostly good, so you take your car there. And unfortunately, that's where the problems actually begin, because the shop you brought it to sucks. And today we're going to read more of these stories, so if you like that, come and join me, Jeff, on this tour across the country to different cities and different mechanic shops. Hit that like button and let's go. Special shout out to Jeff Freak Nick R831 for this suggestion. If you want your suggestions read by me and done by me, make sure you leave them in a comment down below and subscribe so you don't miss it. Alright, now let's get into the reviews. Our first mechanic shop is Pat's Auto Service in Rock Springs, Wyoming. This very small town looking mechanic shop, located in a very scenic area and next to a baseball field, has a 3.9 rating on 66 reviews. Rock Springs' population is 23,492 people, making it the 5th most populous city in all of Wyoming. Your fun fact is that the city was established in 1968 as a coal mining town, and it was later known as the City of 56 Nationalities due to its multicultural population. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some mechanic reviews. Our first review for Pat's comes from Lori. My vehicle was towed to Pat's. I will never recommend him. He lied about what was wrong with my truck. Just cause I'm a girl doesn't mean I don't know anything. Very bad service, and he was rude.
How rude.
Oh man, alright, we're off to a hot start here. So was Pat lying to Lori about her truck because she is a woman, or does he just lie in general? Let's keep reading more reviews and find out. Well, it looks like the next review comes from a man, so let's see if Pat treated Austin any differently. After driving through on our way to our family vacation, we pulled in with a check engine light, and initially our fix was going to be a quick one afternoon $600 fix. Well, after waiting until they almost closed, I decided to call for an update, and they told me they discovered that I would have to do the same fix twice to both sides of the valve covers. Cool. I guess we're doing that now. So after having our car an entire second day, I called again and asked, "What's up?" Well, apparently they had to really clean the covers because these kind of things take time to really get it right. And now I'm stuck in Rock Springs for another day. Thankfully, he offered to let us stay in a cheap $55 Roach motel. But after asking, he said we'd be responsible for those costs anyway, so I gladly declined and decided to get our family a more comfortable accommodation. After they had finally finished our repair, we had owed a touch over $1,400. So after paying, we were on our way, and not 2 hours later, our check engine light came back on. Great. After we got our car re-diagnosed, it was discovered we had a damaged crankshaft sensor that had happened when the repairs to our valve covers had happened. Honestly, would not recommend unless you're desperate for repairs. Well, after reading Austin's review, it seems like it doesn't matter if you're a male or a female. Pat's will mess up your stuff, and if you're a man, he'll mess up your crankshaft. Ouch. Does Garrett leave Pat's unscathed? Let's find out. I had a terrible experience dealing with Pat. He was unable to fix the car in a timely manner, even though he said it would go fast. Ended up picking up the car without him finishing after over a month. He was rude throughout the entire process. Only thing he's good at is coming up with excuses. I'm glad he proved himself to be completely untrustworthy, and we had to take the car to another mechanic to finish the job. They can empty the water out of the radiator that he left in it and fill it with the antifreeze like a good mechanic would. Would not recommend at all. Unfortunately, it does not sound like Garrett left that unscathed. It took a month for him to get his car and it still wasn't fixed, and they put water in instead of antifreeze. What kind of cheap place is this? Let's see what happened to Syed here at Ken's. Went in for a brake master cylinder and brake booster replacement. They installed a faulty brake master cylinder and didn't bother to make sure the brakes were in good working order before handing back the vehicle. When I dropped off my car again because the brakes were worse than before, they couldn't diagnose the issue. I had to take my car to a different mechanic to diagnose and fix the problem. Pat's Auto also didn't adjust the brake booster push rod properly, which the second mechanic had to fix as well. Definitely wouldn't recommend this place. Their negligence could have caused a car wreck. If there's one part of the car you don't want to screw up, it's probably the brakes. That could have been a very dangerous situation. shame on Pat's. Let's go to the next review. Let's read what happened to John. Had my truck over 3 weeks. Told me it was done and ran good. I flew back from Florida to pick it up and paid my $4,100 bill, only to find out my truck ran horrible. I was barely able to make it back to his shop. They had it another 2 days and couldn't fix it. So now I have a truck that doesn't run and I'm out $4,100. Never take anything to Pat. He is incompetent and they don't know how to fix cars. Oh man, my frustration level would be about midnight right now if this was me. Someone has my vehicle for 3 weeks at $4,100 later and it still doesn't run right, and then you bring it back to them and they can't fix it? What in the huh? Oh man, well, let's head to the next mechanic. Oh, just Jeff sneaking in here. Just wanted to say, if you've made it this far, make sure you subscribe and join the Jeff Freaks. Alright, back to the video. Our next mechanic is a little bit different because it's a mobile mechanic, and it's the mobile mechanic located in Clermont, Florida. There is no building for this, and the address brings you to this UPS store in this mall, and it has a 3.6 rating on 152 reviews. The city of Clermont has a population of 43,021 people. Your fun fact is that the city of Clermont is home to the Florida Citrus Tower, which was one of the first famous landmarks in the whole state of Florida, and you can see miles of orange groves from its top. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some mobile mechanic reviews. Let's get our mobile mechanic experience started with A.D. Beware. Please do not use this mechanic. I sadly did research after he lied and took my money. He owned businesses prior to this and had horrible reviews. I called him on Sunday and knew I would probably have to pay a premium, and had no problem with the $180 fee. However, after speaking with several other mechanics in my area, that fee is very high, even on a Sunday. I had him come out, he connected his machine and checked codes, did not look at anything else, and told us bad engine, which was going to cost us over $3,000. My car is 5 years old and had no issues until now. He did not explain anything except the code showed it was an engine issue. I paid him his fee and called other mechanics. All the other mechanics agreed it was the same issue and the fix was $150. One mechanic even showed me the codes on his machine and nothing about engine issues. I asked him for my money back and he disappeared. He is a scam artist and a thief. I am sure even the people who had their car fixed and posted good reviews could have had the same service for much cheaper by a reputable and certified mechanic. Now let's see his response, which will probably be another lie. This is one of those stories that give people a lot of anxiety about trusting a mechanic or a mobile mechanic in this story. They were told $3,000 for an engine fix when it was actually a $150 fix. Smells fishy. Let's keep reading. The next review is a lot shorter, and it comes from Bob. I have never had such a crock of bull from a mechanic. I should have looked at the reviews first. This company is such a scam. I know why they respond so quickly when everyone else was busy. And they only take cash, Zelle, or Cash App. They get your money up front and don't do the work. Getting the money up front for car work and through Cash App or Zelle, this definitely seems very fishy. They probably prey on people's desperation. Let's keep reading. Let's read Nick's mobile mechanic experience. Do not for a second believe a word out of Chris's mouth. He talks in circles, never fully answering any of your questions. He came out and diagnosed an engine coolant leak as a thermostat issue, foolishly trusting him. I sent him to the parts store for the thermostat and specifically requested he get more engine coolant. After replacing the thermostat, he put 2 half-empty jugs of coolant out of his van that were heavily diluted with water, not nearly enough to fill my reservoir to a visible level. When I asked him where the coolant was I requested, he said he thought he had enough in his van and that he's not even supposed to transport fluids. He was quick to demand payment and assured me the engine would cool off to give it time and I would be on my way. That did not happen. After multiple calls, he agreed to return with more coolant within the hour. He never showed up and left us stranded. Do not call Kraft Mobile Mechanic. I have a feeling that Nick's problem was too big for the mechanic to actually fix and they were trying to just get their money and get on their way and then just la, we can't hear you, and they call and then they change their name once they get too many complaints because it's not called Kraft Mobile Mechanic anymore, but I'm sure it was at one point. The next messy mobile mechanic review comes from Courtney. Do not use this company. Giant scam, sexist, and unprofessional. We called them because we could not get the bolt off for an alternator we were trying to change. We had tried every tool we had, which stripped the bolt. So we even got extractors and it just wouldn't budge. Radish comes out and starts blaming us that it's difficult to get off because we stripped it. He would have no issue if we hadn't stripped it because he would be able to get a grip on it. I told him we got a grip just fine with the extractor, but he still couldn't get it to move. He ended up using our extractor and got it off. During all of this, he is making comments about people, especially women, shouldn't be messing with their cars because they make it worse. After all of this, he tells us they had to check the price because it could be anywhere from $300 to $600 to install our alternator. When we called, we were quoted $200 to $300, so overall this guy was rude and inconsistent. We ended up finishing the job ourselves, and we were still charged $240 for him to come out and loosen a bolt. And the cherry on top of that, he was vaping the whole time. This guy sounds just absolutely insufferable, loudly talking bad about people and women in front of women, and then probably trying to look for a way to upcharge them because you're mad at them. Oh man, Let's see if Holly ran into that same person. I called Clermont Automotive Mechanic to see if they can maybe come out to my car to get it started. However, the guy laughed at me, told me all the things that they would check, and told me that I probably wouldn't want to pay a fee for that. So to fix it myself as well to laugh at me on the phone. This is inappropriate and very rude. I'm calling for help as I am a female and I don't know too much. However, if you're going to be in this business, I think you need a little more professionalism as I am technically on my job site now and just need a little help. But I see these are the wrong people. I wonder if Holly was in contact with the same person that helped Courtney, or should I say, helped Courtney. This mobile mechanic kinda sucks. Does anything change for James? I had an issue with my Equinox, and he told me that he would need to reset the computer, and that it would be $500 to $800, and it was $721, and it ran fine while idling in my driveway. When I left, I drove it, and the problem still persisted as soon as I took it on the highway. He was here for an hour, and I called him, and he said the Chevrolet dealer will have to reset it, so I just lost $721 for basically nothing. Totally got scammed. I agree that James totally got scammed, and the worst part about it is he can't even run down the mobile mechanic because his car doesn't work properly. Ha ha ha. Alright, let's go to the next mechanic. Our next shop is North Liberty Automotive in North Liberty, Iowa. We're back to the normal brick and mortar shop here, and this one has a 3.9 rating on 63 reviews. North Liberty, Iowa's population is 20,479 people. Before becoming known as North Liberty, the city went by the names of Big Bottom, North Bend, and Squash Bend before finally landing on North Liberty. Pretty neat, so let's go read these mechanic reviews. We'll get Iowa started with Josh. My wife and I took our van in, and they overcharged for all the parts. They didn't finish the job and still charged full price. I wouldn't take a bicycle in to have these crooks fix. If I could give it negative 5 stars, I would. Don't take your vehicle to this shop. Yep, after reading that is a negative 5-star experience. But would Josh bring his Razor scooter in there? The things that keep me up at night, I swear. Next review comes from Orion. Don't believe the most affordable nonsense. Over the years, he's either been dishonest or unable to solve seemingly simple issues. Terry will gladly slap unnecessary charges when you ask him to do basic service on your vehicle. He's more than willing to do this to a customer who's been extremely loyal to him for many years. I recommend finding a much more trustworthy business. You're going to lose money here for no reason. Looks like Orion had been going here for years and he started getting those unnecessary charges slapped on for just basic service. That's one way to lose a customer. Let's go to the next review. And that review comes from Derek. Took my vehicle in to have them look at a speed sensor issue. Took them almost 3 days to even look at it until I called multiple times to check on my vehicle. After about almost 2 weeks and saying it was finally fixed, I paid and drove off to only have the same issue 2 blocks after driving off. I went back to them and they were going to be closed the following week, all week for vacation. Seriously, don't waste your time and money. Extremely unreliable. Took them 3 days to look at it, 2 weeks to get the car back, and only 2 blocks for it to fail again. That is absolutely terrible. Then they're closed a whole week for vacation? What kind of shop is this? We'll peel more layers back from this weird mechanic shop with 79 EPS review. When I called and set up an appointment, I was specific that I needed my car back at 2 o'clock because I had to go to work. When I dropped my car off, I was specific that I need my car back no later than 2 o'clock because I had to work. I specifically told them that even if they could simply diagnose the problem by 2 o'clock, we could set up an appointment to fix it another day. Yet, when I showed up, they hadn't even gotten it into the shop to look at. The guy even said that I never told him I need it back by 2 o'clock. I sure as hell will never go back there again. Man, this would be really frustrating if it happened to me. Specifically, the part about needing the car to get to work. Haha. The next review comes from 8quana. Dishonest, incompetent guys who will use all means to exploit you and create non-existent problems on your car to make more money off you, especially if you're ignorant about cars. Thumbs down, 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 down. 0 star. Even with a half a dozen thumbs down and saying the word 0 stars, you still have to leave a 1-star review. Aw, shucks. Let's go to the next one. And that review comes from Dave. Absolute scam artist. This guy will con you. Stay clear of this business. People in the parking lot had the same terrible experience as I did. I will never go back. Run from this place. Well, you'll have to run from this place because they can't fix your car. Ha ha ha. Alright, let's go to the next mechanic. We leave Iowa and head on over to Colorado to Ken's Auto Service in Aurora, Colorado. This shop looks pretty nice from the outside. It's in a building with a few other businesses and has a 4.6 rating on 1,040 reviews. Known as the Gateway to the Rockies, Aurora's population is 386,261 people. A quick fun fact about Aurora is that Olympian Missy Franklin grew up here and she won 4 gold medals at the age of 17 in the Olympics. What were you doing at 17? I probably was stressing out about senior prom in high school. How silly. But not as silly as these 1-star mechanic reviews. We'll kick off Ken's with Lacey. Women, please be aware. And read previous reviews. I had taken my Jeep to O'Reilly's to run a diagnostic because my check engine light was on. The diagnostic stated that I needed a new thermostat. As a previous customer of Ken's, I took my Jeep there, told them I needed a new thermostat, as that's what the diagnostic stated from O'Reilly's. They said they wanted to run their tests as well to see if there was any further damage. After they ran tests, they confirmed that I needed a new thermostat and quoted me $1,070 to replace it. This of course included $180 for running the diagnostic test again. Completely in shock of the cost to get this done, I called another local shop and they quoted me $230 total. I picked up my Jeep from Ken's, was still charged $180, even though I told them the issue in the first place. As a woman, I would highly advise you not to take your car here, as clearly I was quoted almost triple of what it costed me to actually get my thermostat replaced. I am still in awe I was still charged to run the diagnostics when I told them why my check engine light was on. This is the kind of bad business of overcharging people who are not familiar with mechanical repairs. This review, along with many other ones I've read so far, shows why it's good to call around and get different quotes when it comes to car issues, because some shops will just try to scam you and some will try to help you, and once you find that helpful mechanic, stick to them like glue. But don't actually stick glue on them. You know, if you missaid Carrie's name, it would come out Kari, you know, like a car. Ho ho! Mechanics, you know what I'm saying? Alright, let's read her review. Please fix your car elsewhere. I received an $1,800 quote from these guys for an alternator on a 2010 Nissan Murano. Had it fixed at 5280 top mechanic for $600 with a 3-year warranty and a new alternator belt. This place will see a woman walk in and overcharge. When Ken's mechanic walked me to my car, it was the wrong car with the wrong keys. Go elsewhere, ladies. Back-to-back reviews from women who were treated poorly by this place. There's a lot of reviews like that throughout this video so far, and I knew it was a stereotype, but it really stinks to see it in action. I hope these women found really good, trustworthy mechanics after this experience. Sheesh. I assume the next review is from a man, and it's from Joseph. 8,195.50 bill. And a 532 tow bill. Still leaking in the rear end. This will be the 4th time taking it back. Lack of store manager returning phone calls. Taking it back to this place over 4 times. Oh, there's some saying about that.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, fool me once, shame Shame on you. It fooled me. We can't get fooled again.
Ah yes, GW, I knew that video would apply to this, thank you. At what point does Joseph take his truck? Somewhere else. I assume it's under some sort of warranty with Ken's, but I doubt it. Let's see what sort of car trouble Quasi had. Was 1 star, but they tried to make up for it, but I'm still gonna keep the 1-star rating. I still think their business is shady about pricing and the circumstances behind my car being broken into, since it was the only car broken into. The money off was nice, I guess, but fixing my broken windows would have been better. The total price kept changing for my original repair as well. Wish they took more accountability as a business instead of putting this solely on the employee dealing with my car. I feel they disrespected our bailment relationship by not keeping my car in a safe location. Personal items are one thing, but the car itself is another. Be wary of this shop. My complaint is not with the associates, but with the management of this business. I have reported them to the BBB. Well, this is a different kind of review, and I never really thought about that, but yeah, if your car got broken into on a lot at a repair shop and it was the only car that got broken into, I feel pretty shady about the business as well. The next review comes from another woman, and that's Nicole. I've dealt with them for years because they seem trustworthy, but they've always been very expensive. Now I'm noticing they're definitely charging me way too much for parts and labor. Then they'll quote you a price, you'll agree to it, then they'll call you back and they'll say they have to do something else, so it'll be another $400. I'm just not going to take my car there anymore. Well, it sounds like Nicole is being treated the same way as the other women here, being charged way too much and being upcharged for things that probably didn't need to get done. That's just really annoying and really, really sad. Then again, it seems like it's happening to everybody. Let's see if it happens to Robert. Be careful getting service done here. I went in with a squealing noise on my belts. Turned out it was a tensioner pulley that I found out later after I took it to another mechanic, only because Ken's Automotive told me it was a water pump, and it wouldn't have charged me an ungodly amount of money when I went to AutoZone and got a tensioner pulley for $10.95. This happened on June 28th, 24 at 10:24 in the morning. Be careful. Well, Jet Freaks, I've concluded after reading Robert's review that Ken's Automotive sucks for all genders and, well, maybe even all species. Let's go to the next mechanic. Let's get out of the Rocky Mountains and head up to Lake Superior to Zipco's Automotive Center in Ashland, Wisconsin. This building is located on a corner in what looks like downtown. It has a cool Goodyear sign and has a 4.1 rating on 88 reviews. The city of Ashland's population is 7,908 people. Ashland is located near the Chequamegon Bay of Lake Superior, which hosts an annual Book Across the Bay, which is a nighttime cross-country ski and snowshoe race. Don't sign me up for that. That sounds terrifying. But let's head on over to Zipco's. Let's see how Zipco's treated Cody. Called them twice about getting a set of bigger tires mounted on wheels. Take the tires off and drive them an hour up there. Walk in the store and they were super rude and told me they couldn't do it and walked away. This is one of those reviews I wish I had an owner's response for it because I want to know what happened. How can they just be rude and say, no, we can't do that after you called them twice? I feel like there's a big piece missing of this puzzle. Darn it. Where's my genie wish? Let's see if Nick had better luck here. $150 to mount and balance 4 used tires that didn't come from you guys. And throw the old ones in back of truck. And take 3 hours. Ridiculous. Must be off them bars. There's a lot of review in that one sentence. I'm not sure if $150 is a lot to mount and balance 4 used tires that didn't come from someplace. I have never had that scenario happen to me before. Maybe there's extra to throw them in back of truck. But to take 3 hours does seem a bit ridiculous. And I don't know if off dem bars mean off to like the bars to drink, or they're off dem bars like rapping to each other in like an underground rap battle like 8 Mile. I don't know what's going on here, but let's go to the next review. And that review comes from Daniel. Deceptive business practices. I spoke with company reps 3 times prior to picking up my car and discussed the bill. No one told me about the non-cash adjustment fee, and then was charged a non-cash adjustment fee on my debit card upon paying my bill. When I called back, the rep was rude and cooperative. Don't support this business. I can understand why Daniel's annoyed. If you called 3 times to talk about the bill and they never told you about like an additional fee if you didn't use cash, I'd be very annoyed because those bills have to be like several hundred or even thousands of dollars, so most people probably don't use cash. That's a bit deceptive. What happened to Jerry in northern Wisconsin? Let's read. Asked them to fix a leaky tire. They put a valve stem in. Didn't fix hole in tire. Waste of time and money. I went to another tire shop and they fixed it right. Worst tire shop ever. Wouldn't give me my money back. To owner, the sidewall of my tire was fine. The pinhole was in the thread part of my tire. Tom's Auto Repair in Mellon, Wisconsin patched the tire for $20. That's the real story. Sounds like this shop maybe specializes in tires, or maybe they just specialize in messing up people's tires. I'm not too sure. What I do know is that the next review comes from Luger. Quoted one price came in 3 times higher. Yeah, don't trust Zipco with anything. Got my oil imagine that my transfer case starts to leak. Try it again, Zipco. Got proof you did it. So they do more than just screw up your tires, they also can mess up your oil change. Awesome. You know what else is awesome? Going to the next mechanic? Let's go. Let's head past all of the Great Lakes to the East Coast to Danbury, Connecticut to Danbury AutoWorks. This small shop located on a cute little corner spot has a 4.5 rating on 85 reviews. Founded in 1684, Danbury currently has a population of 86,518 people. Your fun fact about Danbury is that the TV show Orange is the New Black, which takes place in a female penitentiary, is based on the one in Danbury. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some auto mechanic reviews. We'll get Danbury started with Sheila. Purchased a Subaru from the owner of this garage. Before I gave him the payment, he allowed the car needed a head gasket and the repair was done by their mechanic at his garage. After the purchase, the car broke down days later and needed a new engine. Owner refused to help me with repair, nor offered any restitution and was less than hospitable on the phone. Worst car buying experience ever. I'm guessing that they probably fixed up that Subaru just well enough for it to run for a few days so that Sheila couldn't really do anything about it. That's really, really shady. All these are just horrible stories. Ugh. The next review comes from Elena. I do not recommend to use this repair shop and I will not be coming back. Charlie is not honest. I still had an issue with my car for a problem he said he fixed. Mechanic who I brought it to afterwards fixed it for cheaper and the fuel problem didn't return. Beer bottles in repair shop visible from customer lobby. Now that is a level of extreme frustration. The mechanic tells you they fix a problem, you drive off, it's still not fixed. You bring it to another mechanic, they fix the problem for cheaper and it stays fixed. Oh man, I would leave a review too, and this is Elena's only review. That's hilarious. Let's go to the next one. And that review comes from Dylan. I went there with high hopes. The owner made a lot of promises. He did not return my calls for weeks, or my messages. He also attempted to perform work on a car I did not ask for. I had to get the police involved due to the owner's threats in holding my vehicle. Luckily, local PD has had problems with the shop in the past, and helped me get my car back without charges. Know your rights. CT has laws protecting us from fraud and scammer artists like Danbury AutoWorks. They have to have written proof of everything and written consent. Stay away from this violent shop. They will try and take your money and make promises they can't keep. I'm really glad that Dylan knows the Connecticut laws and knows his rights in Connecticut, but it really does stink that he had to involve the local PD just to get his car back and without being overcharged. That's pretty wild. But let's go to the next mechanic shop. We're dipping our toes back into that mobile mechanic pool with the Mobile Mechanic Little Rock in North Little Rock, Arkansas. I'm assuming it uses this warehouse address as its home base and it has a 3.7 rating on 78 reviews. North Little Rock and the city of Little Rock are divided by the Arkansas River, but North Little Rock has a population of 64,591 people. If you find yourself in North Little Rock, Arkansas and you're a big fan of the movie Gone with the Wind, you can visit the old mill. It was featured in the opening scenes of the movie. So with all of that in mind, let's go read some car mechanic reviews. The first review from this mobile mechanic comes from Chelsea. They do not show up. And yes, it was this Sean that the reviews was speaking so highly of.
Ethan!
Unprofessional. They never call, and we made arrangements to be off of work thinking that he was coming. Don't waste your time. Made arrangements, took time off of work, and they don't show up. That is 1-star worthy. Oh man, and very annoying. Let's see if the same thing happened to Chris. I scheduled an appointment to repair my vehicle for $1,300 on 14 Aug 24 with two gentlemen named D and Zay 2 days prior. I contacted them a total of 5 times and got no response. They did not show or make an attempt to contact me. I personally would not recommend, as they are not reliable or dependable. I'm no expert or claim to be or anything like that, but I feel like to be a successful mobile mechanic, you have to have good communication or be timely, or a good combination of both, and if you don't have one or two, you're not going to be successful. Again, I'm not an expert, but it just kind of seems like common sense. Let's find out if they showed up for Terry. Dude is not reliable. Hey, made an appointment with me on Thursday. I took off work. He never showed up or called back after the appointment was set up. Very unprofessional. Do not recommend. Nope, Terry did not have any better luck than anyone else did. Let's read the next one. Let's see how the mobile mechanic experience went for Robert. I called Sean to take a look at my car and he told me he would come by Friday. I told him I had to go out of town and where the car is and where I would leave the keys. I was out of town until Monday, and when I came back he hadn't called or come to fix the car as we discussed. I called him Monday morning, he didn't answer the phone. Very unprofessional. And don't do what he says. All he had to do was tell me if he was too busy. I will not beg someone to take my money. I don't know why he has all these good reviews. Those must be family and friends or something else. Maybe I just don't trust people like Robert does, but I don't know if I could just leave my keys for a mobile mechanic to come around and work on my car and also tell them that I'm out of town until Monday. That just seems like a recipe for burglary. The next review comes from Shantine. He started out a great. Gave me a quick diagnostic. He came back the next day. I thought he would take good care of me. Instead, he ripped me off. Did work fast and never tested to see if everything was good. When I got in my car, it was worse than before he worked. I recommend no. I mean absolutely no one use him. I asked him very politely to come back and look at it. He took my money and never responded until I threatened to call my lawyer, but never showed. This is one of those reviews that's severely lacking details, and those details would really help paint a better picture. I want to know what the original diagnostic was, I want to know what they did to rip him off and all that, but you know what? We can just take guesses, and all those guesses make them look bad, so good job, mobile mechanic. And with that, you've made it to the end of one of my videos. Thank you so much for watching this far, and make sure you leave a like if you haven't, subscribe for more, and watch this video on screen if you haven't seen it, because YouTube thinks you'll like it. Until next time, goodbye.